Ricky Wysocki first to tee. He is carrying to the left side. And a fresh face here on this lead card Nicholas Masters. Looks like that's heading toward the OB pond. And you see the winds pushing that both up and down as Nikko easily clears the... And the always entertaining and charismatic Gregg Barsby looks to easily be clearing the pond. Left center side. Let's see how the women did earlier here at Maple. And Nicholas throwing from the drop zone after going OB on the tee shot. That's heading all the way to the new green that we find on 1. We're going to get back to the women here on hole 1.
And if he wants any chance at a birdie, he's going to attack the green, and he did attack.
And Nikko's playing up short of the green. Steve, we talked about changes out here earlier on. Barsby says, oh boy, as he knows he hung on to that just a bit high and right. Got a good kick. Nice conservative play here by Nikko. Locastro is going to net him a 2. I got to say, I love the sun. Beautiful temperatures out here.
This morning it was about 60 degrees with about 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it is beautiful right now. The wind is calming down and the weather is picking up.
Well, look for our tap-ins here on hole 1. We've got a medium-sized walkover to 2. We'll be back with you after a word from our sponsors. And Ricky gets a kick off the right side, which pushes him past. And Nikko with a roller here. Looks as if he's trying to take the right side. And Barsby's forehand is wide left. And low coming in short will be Nicholas. Let's see. Barsby's got a very efficient forehand. And Nikko, from no more than 10 feet behind the pin, is going to walk away with a birdie. And a pair of tap-ins. So 2 birdies, 2 pars. We've got a walk over to hole 3. We'll be back with you in a few moments. Wysocki is tight on the left side. And Nikko playing a flex, trying to will it up the fairway. That looked like it was relatively overstable. And hitting an early tree, but getting great carry afterwards. The women played from a different tee earlier. Let's cut. A lower line, but equally as effective as the forehand. That's just off the front of the basket. A little bit high and left, but the DGA. And Nikko moving at a little bit swifter pace than we usually see during his putting stroke. Barsby will be last to tap in. We have a very short walk over to hole 4. Again, Cale Levis got aced yesterday. We'll be back in a moment. Nikko going right up the center gap, and that scoots up nicely. He'll have a putt from. And Barsby goes right up the middle, gets a little Skippy love. And Nicholas goes to the right side with a forehand. We'll see how the women did earlier on hole 4. And Wysocki lunges forward. And Wysocki doing. And Nikko steps
Puts in a row that Nikko's not been happy with the release that he's had. Let's look for him to try to get that back and stay on this lead card and it's round 3.
And Wysocki will tap in for bogey. We're moving over to the exciting hole 5. Barsby with the forehand out over the water. And that looks to be. And as we feel a tailwind pushing at our backs, the Nikko opts for the backhand. If the wind continues to push it right, he'll be fine. And cuts just in front of the basket. Backhand putter shot. Wysocki opting for the forehand. Wysocki's shot came in short yesterday, but to the right, this is just. Guess I should say it's a little more of a crosswind from his right to left. Great birdie here by Nicholas. Looks like we have a 3-way tie now at 8 under par. That's hole 5. We'll be back in a moment from the daunting hole number 6. And holes number 1 and 2, you'll be OB as well. That is a beautiful shot coming in by Gregg Barsby. Gets a skip towards the pin. Steve.
You'd call it a par 4. There's just a lot of OB tight to either side. If you get off the line, you hit a tree.
And then another tree.
Get 2.
Well, I'll give a little plug and spoiler. If you watch the coverage I put out yesterday, we see just off the tree and inbound footage is released and available for you to watch. And here's Wysocki. And hits a tree that had. this could make or break a tournament here. He's got to find himself back inbounds, and he's done just that. Gets a kick off the tree, and the best possible result you could have asked for. And with a Batman died disc, he decides to go. And he's got to hope that gets around. It does, and it kicks out into the opening, so he'll have a very wide open putt from there. I think they call that fall. Just off the front of the rim. What a... And Wysocki from 26. And somehow that comes out on Gregg Barsby. He's going to walk away with a tap in par, which will still lower the overall average here on this hole. But this is playing as the second most difficult hole according to par. We'll see Nikko tap in, and we're moving on to another tunnel shot found on hole number 7. And what a shot. It does hit one of the final trees just... And somehow that keeps going. And Ricky just a few inches. And Nicholas going up the center of the fairway, finishing left. Good spot to be. Let's see how the women did earlier on hole 7. Nikko's best option is a forehand, and he is not going to like the result of that. Barsby is right side.
It's a very tough hyzer putt. One thing that I've noticed, the second home...
And what a save by Locastro. Yeah, Nicholas answers. He's going to take the hard
for par.
And that was high chain, and with a headwind, it looked like it wanted to come out. Ricky will tap in. We're going to move over to the gorgeous hole 8.
Yeah, that's we made it so it's very hard for me to clear the water. 40% of the players card the birdie here. If you're on the lead card, you need to card the birdie, and that's going to do it perfectly. They built a whole bunch of ponds. They wanted to harvest minnows, and there's Barsby's shot. It's coming in really nice. And they're going to keep going.
Yep, they have at least 11 or so more holes to play today, and then 36. They'll keep going. Just
it's saying we can throw a 300-foot shot pretty easy.
And the final tee shot that's coming in, and just right of the... And Wysocki from...
Hot round so far today. Josh Anton and Nate Doss are both 5 down through 15, have moved up 27. They've passed 27 people. They're tied for 10th right now.
Slam dunk by Wysocki. He's going to move on with a par. And here's a birdie by Barsby. We're moving on to hole 10. Great looking forehand coming over the hillside by Nicholas. Nikko's asking for it to stay straight. It should be on top of the hill. Let's see how the women did on hole 9. And a perfect shot there by Ricky's got a lunging jump putt at it. He goes deep of the pin, and although
And he needs to turn it left to right, but he needs to do that without getting the outside angle up.
and giving it plenty of power, he's going to get over the edge, and very easy to get tempted to try and be your hero and possibly get the birdie too here, but good shot there by and a low effort out of Gregg Barsby, who thought Wysocki laid up earlier. I think he's running this.
I don't know if you can run a 20-foot or nothing dinner.
Sure. Oh, and Nicholas, right side, not enough chain.
He's clearly a strong putter.
And speaking of strong players, I'm excited that during the back nine, it's going to get better. I've got Dana Vichy joining me. We're going to relieve you of your duties, and we'll be back after a word from our sponsors. And welcome here to the back nine as we have Nikko Locastro throwing the tee shot here on hole number 10. Dynamite, Dana Vichy. Dana, sorry to hear that you had to play earlier, but we're glad you could join us. What about this shot by Wysocki?
Not a bad shot. He would have liked a little. He surely would have liked another 50 to 70 foot of distance.
And we are not playing to the castle as we've seen for the last few years. That's Nicholas Masters. Looks to be a
4, kind of a 90-degree angle to the right, and now we're kind of just ignoring that. Although I have seen some players that have hit early play around the castle and take the old fairway.
All right, we'll see how the women did from their tee on hole 10. And Dana, one element that's not changing here on hole 10 is you're still throwing uphill.
Oh, most definitely. It might even.
And Barsby with a standstill forehand. It's right in his wheelhouse. Some would consider this, and I don't have the scoring.
Still got up high enough that he has a clean look up to the basket.
And no problems for Wysocki. Goes just a few feet past. And Nicholas.
Times from right here.
And making easy work of it. We're going to move up the fairway. Nikko catching his balance there as he's got a slight uphill straddle. And we're going to have a short walk over to hole number 11. Stay tuned right here with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And that's going to be trouble for Ricky Wysocki. That is pushing hard right, and that is carrying into the woods. That's going to be a world of hurt for Wysocki. Great pullback, great release here by Nicholas. We'll see if that clears over the trees. Makes for a much easier approach if it does. Gregg Barsby's shot does not turn, and he looks.
And that is looking good. Just needs a filter through the trees.
And what a shot! And Barsby keeping it nice and low. It stands up, it turns left, it's going to push right. It doesn't have enough room to do so. And that was a release with too much hyzer right out of his hands. And Nikko's looking for that to stand up. It's turned over, carrying to the right. And welcome back, everyone. We are here on hole number 14. And a great looking shot. He's got the honors. That's Nicholas Masters. And Gregg Barsby's fading left. Dana, that's still a good play.
Yeah, not bad. You really just have.
And just like yesterday, I'm seeing that fade to the left. You will be safe. And carrying it wide to the right. He needs us to finish left. It's moving. And it hits and sits. Sigh of relief from Nikko. Let's check in with the women on both holes 13 and 14. And getting it to sit right under the basket.
And that was a run, but it looked.
Well, he gave it a good, a little bit low is all right here. You certainly don't want to miss high. Possibly catch off the top of the basket. We see a couple slam dunks here to finish out. And self-safe. That's very, very unfortunate. We're going to move on to hole 15. We got a lengthy walk. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors. And needing to pipe the gap. Looks like he's done just that. What a shot here by Nicholas. And what a line here by Gregg Barsby. That is how you throw a four.
Ricky looking to get on the birdie train right here.
Oh, and he got about 3/4 of the way down the fairway. And Nikko playing a little bit of a flex shot off the right side. That gets a great flare skip. He'll be looking at a long putt. Let's see how the women did. He's got about 100 feet to the pin. And Nikko does just
the deep straddle that he does have with his left foot front leading to go into the more traditional stance, and the traditional stance got it done for him right there. And we got Barsby. He's a couple feet away, tapping in for birdie, as does Nick. They're 12 down, tied for the lead.
And that turns over. It looks like he's going to get a relatively fortunate bounce. Had that kick left or right. Trying to throw a flip up forehand that's pushing the left side fairway. The question is, was he going to... And going after that same tree, just missing it. Is that going to hook up?
It was going to, but
and Wysocki, who threw a beautiful shot here yesterday, puts it right next to the pin. Let's see if that gets him on track. Let's see how the women did on 16. And as Dana said, that's a difficult up and down. Catches a high limb and then that put him in putting range. Here's Nikko. And Nikko wasting no time once taking him. Barsby's got about 60 some feet, assuming he converts here in a moment. And Wysocki will convert on that 101 out of 100 times. Beautiful drive by Wysocki. We got a little bit of cleanup. We're going to have a lengthy walk over to hole 17, just 2 to go here. We'll be back with you from the distance. Hole 17's tee shot is all about placement. That is a nearly perfectly placed shot there by Ricky Wysocki at 650 feet, this par 4. Barsby's is hyzering out. He's straight ahead from where we're standing. And Nikko's also fighting back to straight ahead. And that continues to fade, which is exactly what we're looking. We've got a lengthy walk. We'll be back after we see how the women played hole 17. And Dana, Gregg. And a great shot here coming. Ours are worse. These guys are making it look super easy.
definitely. And Rick running it. Needs to get strong.
And Rick with the long comebacker. Dan, I'm just going to throw out a name real quick as these guys tap in. Is Nicholas Masters our Dutch Napier of a few years ago?
Quite possibly Dutch.
The smash here by Wysocki, chasing down our cameraman. Almost, in fact. And your current leader, Gregg Barsby, a little too much Anheuser on that. He's and I love love the play here by Nikko Locastro. He's going with a backhand roller, and it continues to push up the fairway, and he's just past the... And Nicholas gets off a great-looking shot. Let's see how the women... And a simple forehand. I'd give that shot to Gregg Barsby all day if my life depended on it.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Masters goes deep. And Nikko just... Everybody enjoying a good time. Here's Ricky Wysocki. Would you say, Dana, that this is the... par? And at the halfway point, Gregg Barsby is still going to be your leader moving into that position today. Nick Masters and Nikko Locastro will tap in. They're going